Welcome back to Mac Talks Football, and this is part 2 of my Premier League preview 24-25. I already did part 1, in which I talk about the 3 newly promoted teams in Leicester City, Ipswich Town and Southampton. So if you wanna have a look at that, you can go and check that one out. I will put the link in the description below. In this video we are gonna talk about 5 teams: Nottingham Forest, Fulham, Wolverhampton Wanderers, Brentford and Everton. We're going to see how these teams are preparing themselves for the new season, the signings that they have made, the players that have left their clubs, and the managerial changes and everything. And we'll see how it is affecting these clubs, and what we can expect from them in the next season. A lot to talk about, so let's get right into it. We're going to start with Nottingham Forest. They finished 17th last season and securing their status as a Premier League club on the last day of the season by winning 2-1 away at Burnley. That was quite a good win and a necessary one for them. They had quite an interesting season last year on and off the pitch. They were fined by the Premier League and docked 4 points because of financial irregularities in their accounts, and they of course they have claimed they appealed for the fine in an independent tribunal, but unfortunately for them the appeal was overturned and they were still fined. And let's be honest, the financial irregularities that Nottingham Forest have is nothing compared to what Manchester City have. Like, there are 115 charges against City, but nothing has been done right now about them. And Nottingham Forest in their appeal cited the fine as the dock points as unfair, and compared that to Manchester City as well. But as I said, nothing is done. As Cersei Lannister's favorite quote, power comes into play in this moment. Like, City have the power, they can do whatever they want. Forest unfortunately don't have the power and were not able to win the case, and their points were deducted. Apart from that, there were managerial changes in the season as well. They started with Steve Cooper, but he was sacked after just 13 games. They won just once in his time. He was replaced by Nuno Espirito Santos, and he has done a great job getting that club away from relegation, making them keeping them safe amidst all the drama going on in the background. So, and he would be hoping that this season is a better one than last season, and the club does not have to be in a relegation scrap again. In terms of transfer, they have they have sold Musa and Karte to Lyon for about 32 million euros, as well as goalkeeper Odysseus Lekatomenes has gone to Newcastle for 24 million euros. So those are 2 big moves going away from the club. In terms Oral Mangala and Robert Farrell as well have permanently signed for Atletico, so for Lyon and Bologna respectively. Sorry about that one. And then in terms of arrival, they have brought in a young Scottish midfielder, Elliot Anderson from Newcastle United for about 40 million euros. I think that is a big signing from them, as well as signing Belgian defender Nikola Malkanich for about 14 million euros from Fiorentina. They have also brought in goalkeeper Carlos Miguel from Corinthians. So you can see that they are spending the money, they are backing the manager. Espirito is a very good manager, he's a very shrewd manager, so I think he has taken the money that he has gotten from the departures and invested in the squad. Forest have signed a lot of players over the last 2-3 seasons, so they don't need to sign that much players, and already they are in like a financial trouble with the league, so they don't want to get into another problem with them this season as well. So I think these signings are really good, and as of now the Nottingham Forest fan should be happy with the way the things are going I think they are doing really good, and maybe the next year is not going to be a relegation scrap for them. Moving on to the next team, we are gonna talk about Brentford, and I mean, they finished last season 16, which was their worst position since they came to the Premier League. They finished first season 12th, then 9th, and they dropped back to 16. And I think one of the biggest reason for that was Ivan Toney. He missed most of the season, and that is such an important player for them that losing him was a big deal. This is going to be Thomas Frank's 7th season at the club, and I think he would hope that his team bounces back from the disappointing season of last season, they can finish in the upper half of the table again. In terms of transfer, they have only made one signing, bringing in Igor Thiago for about 32 million euros. He scored 29 goals in all competition last season, and he's a great signing. But unfortunately for them, he has gotten injured in pre-season, and I think he's going to be out for 3-4 months. And I think it's such a sad thing for a player to go to a new club with high hopes and to get injured without even playing properly. The big concern at Brentford throughout the summer and even in January was Ivan Toney. He has been linked with a move away to Manchester United. Nothing has happened till now, and it looks like that the interest is cooling off from United, but you never know. There's still a month to go for the transfer window to end. Manchester United can come back and get him, but if Brentford can keep Toney at the club, I think it would be a very good big moment for them, and it would be very important for them. And if Thiago coming when, I think both of them, they can create a good partnership amongst each other, or even compete with each other. And I think getting with competition, goals are gonna come, and that's gonna help Brentford, and I think they are gonna have a better season as compared to the previous one. So it's looking good for Brentford at the moment. The next club we are gonna talk about is Everton, and Everton finished last season 15th, and they themselves were deducted 8 points, and despite that they were nowhere near the relegation places. Like there was no fear of getting relegated from their fans, and I think that's all thanks to Sean Dyche. He often gets criticized because of the way he plays, but I think he has done an amazing job at Everton for the last 18 months, and I think it's going to continue in the next season as well. When it comes to transfer, a good transfer market, the term this is not really used for Everton over the years, but this time around I think they have done a really good and smart business. Sorry, my camera died down. So we were talking about Everton, and in terms of transfer, as I said, that a good transfer window is not a term that is often used for Everton, but this time around they have done a good business. They have of course lost Amadou Onana to Aston Villa, while Ben Godfrey has joined Atlanta. I mean, losing Onana was a big deal. He was a very important and a player for Sean Dyche and Everton, but now he has gone to Aston Villa. They've gotten a good amount of money, so they can use that to reinvest in the squad. They have brought in a young Irish centre back Jake O'Brien, as well as a striker Ilman Ndoye as well. Both of these signings were very crucial for them. They've also brought in Tim Ayrgoben from Newcastle United, while Jesper Landstrom has joined on loan from Lyon. So I think as you can see that they have used that Onana money to reinvest in other parts of the squad, and I think they are still looking for more. They are being linked with Wesley McKenna from Juventus, and I think if they get him, I think it's going to be a very good signing for them, and it will solve the midfield problem that Onana has left. There has been a reason for after Onana leaving. If they get him, it's going to be a very good signing for them, and they would hope that players like Calvert-Lewin and Abdullah Doucouré can continue their form from last season, and new players like Ndoye and Landstrom can gel in with them and take Everton up to back to where they belong. Like, let's be honest, they are not a club that should be in relegation battle, or they should finish in lower half to the table. And I think Everton fans really need a good season where they can finish a respectable mid-table finish, or even in the upper half of the table, because I think it's such a massive club, and to have this type of season is not worthy of them, to be very honest with you. Moving on to the next club, we are going to talk about Wolverhampton Wanderers. They finished 14th last season, but they lost 18 league games. That's almost 50% of their games, and I think they need but I in a way you don't really blame them. The start to last season for them was horrendous. They lost their manager a week before the season start due to dispute on transfer budget, and then Steve Cooper was brought in. I think he did a good job. He did not have a pre-season or anything, but he did a great job with Wolves, making sure they're not dragged into the relegation battle. There was no concern with that, and I think he would hope that he can take the team a step further. There have been no any major departures apart from like there's no really there's no major departures that you can really talk about. And even in terms of arrival, they have tried to focus on the youth. They have brought in Rodrigo Gomez, Pedro Lima, and even signing permanently Tommy Doyle from Manchester City. And then they have brought in Jørgen Larsen from Celta Vigo on loan, the Norwegian striker, to get the goals that they needed. So it's looking good for Wolves as of now. So we'll see. And as I keep on saying, there's still a much to go. We don't know what these teams are gonna do before the transfer window ends, but as of now it's looking good for Wolves. The last team we are gonna talk about is Fulham. They finished 13th last season, and they were 5 points away from 9th place West Ham United. And with a couple of results, anybody could have gone anywhere, but their boss Marco Silva, I think he's doing a great job. He has made Fulham a respectable mid-table club, but he would want to get a step further, and he would like to compete for the European places and try to qualify for the Europe as well this season. Their squad has been perfect. I mean, they have lost one of the like they are involved in one of the biggest transfers in Europe in this season. Paulinho has left Fulham and joined Bayern Munich for over 50 million euros, and I think that's a big loss for them. It is sort of a player that is irreplaceable, and it's going to be very hard for them without him. They have reinvested in the squad, and I quite like what they have done. They have brought back Ryan Sessegnon, and then they by the time I think this video goes out, they would have already been have announced Emil Smith-Rowe. He is signing from Arsenal for about 35 million pounds, and I think that's a great signing for them. They lack creativity in midfield, and ESR is going to bring that for them. Apart from that, George Guesa is also signing same like ESR. Maybe he by the time this video comes out, he will also be announced as centre back. They need that at the back to depth and to shore their defense up. And they have also bid for Scott McTominay from Manchester United. The bid was rejected. It was around 20 million pounds, but United are looking for about 30 million pounds. So I think they are gonna get him as well. And if he comes in the midfield, I think that also solidifies their midfield, and it's looking really good for Marco Silva. I think he can Fulham could turn out to be one of the dark horses, and they can qualify for Europe this year with the way the business that they have done. It's looking really good for them. This was my preview of all this team. Please let me know what you guys think of all the signings that they have made, the players that have left them, the impact these new players are gonna have, or if the players that have left them, players like Onana or Paulinho, what effect it's going to have on these teams. Please let me know in the comment section below. Like the video, share it as well. Please hit the notification bell as well, and subscribe to the channel. Until next time, bye bye.